I always get so weird when I'm like filming, sorry. I'm like a weird person. Jesus Christ. Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. So today I am really excited because this video is going to be the kickoff to my college series. So I thought about doing this a really long time ago. I realized that I have had more experiences in college than the average college student has had. I've transferred twice, been to a community college, a private school, and a public school, including a Big Ten. Like, I just have so many things that I want to share with you guys, so I felt like I should just make this series. I'll go more into specifics later, but this video today is going to be about my college experience. So let's rewind all the way to junior year of high school. I live in a pretty affluent town, and the problem with that is I can't relate to it. My parents, if you saw my house, you would literally laugh in my face. You'd be like, you are ungrateful, you are disgusting that these words are even coming out of your mouth. But the town that I lived in, there was so much money, and my family is very much middle class, and like, it's very hard to keep up with the Joneses, as they say. And I'm not complaining about that at all. I loved my life and I lived very comfortably my whole entire life, but the reason that matters is because finances are a really, really big part of college. College is so expensive. I don't think this is talked about enough at all. Like, yeah, these 4 years are great, but when you come out, you are left with so much debt, and it is like not the way to start your life. So when you're a junior in high school and you're living in a town full of rich people whose mommy and daddy are paying for school, which my parents are helping me out with college, and there is nothing wrong with your parents helping you out with college. It's just hard to not be able to do the things that they are doing while you're 16, 17 years old trying to figure it out. You're like, oh, but I want to do what they're doing, and it's just really hard not to want to follow the crowd at that age. So while I was a junior in high school, my parents had it engraved in my head since I was literally a freshman in high school. You were going to community college. We cannot afford to send you to a four-year college. This is not an option. It's not happening. We're not talking about it any further. So I always knew, like, going into high school that once like junior and senior year rolled around and everyone started to, I'm like getting emotional because it really was like so bothersome at the time. Like, I was getting so upset that all of my other, oh my god, why am I like so emotional? I was just so bothered that every single other person in my grade was like going to tour schools and stuff. Like, I just felt really left out in that process. I felt like all of my peers were having so much fun touring different schools and, you know, applying to different schools, and I feel like I wasn't having that experience. But I had so many friends that were going out of state, visiting schools, posting pictures on Instagram, and it just made me feel like really upset because it wasn't like there was a bunch of people going to community college in my town. Like, it was really frowned upon. That's another thing. Community college is very frowned upon, and it is such a great option and such a great tool that people need to take advantage of. I'll get into that in another video. Basically, it was really frowned upon in my town to be going to community college. That was just associated with people who didn't care about getting a degree, who were like druggies and like just didn't care about their future, and that was not the case for me at all. I just did not have the financial means to go to a four-year university. So junior year was wrapping up, and I was really getting so disheartened and not looking forward to senior year at all. And senior year of high school is supposed to be like the best time of your life, whatever, because I knew that all of my friends were gonna start getting acceptance letters and they were gonna start picking their schools, and I was just getting really emotional about that and really just not looking forward to not being able to take part in that experience. When I was in high school, I was in a long-term relationship, so I was dating the same person for 4 years, and this person didn't go away to college. Basically, he was in that town, so that was like another reason why I wasn't really fighting to go away to school. I was like, okay, like, it's fine, like, my boyfriend's still gonna be here, like, we could still hang out, we're not gonna break up because of distance or anything, like, we're gonna be good. So my high school offered this program, which is actually amazing, and if your high school offers anything slightly close to it, you should definitely take advantage of it. My high school allowed you to split half days with the local community college, which is such an amazing opportunity because I literally took college credits. Like, it wasn't like I was taking AP classes and if I passed this exam, I got credits. Like, I was actually enrolled in community college while I was a senior in high school. Because senior year of high school, you're just taking bullshit classes anyway, unless you're taking AP classes. But the point of taking AP classes is to maybe get that 3 credits of college credit, so why would you not just actually take a college level course? And people always like to argue, oh, AP classes look so good. Okay, yeah, versus normal high school classes, but if you're taking actual college classes while you're in high school, like, that looks even better. I signed up for this program and I was actually really looking forward to it because I wasn't really the biggest fan of high school. Like I said, I was dating someone long term. He was like my best friend at the time, so that's mainly who I hung out with. I didn't really have like a big group of friends. So I was just kind of over high school, just kind of wanted to remove myself from that environment. So splitting the day between high school and community college sounded like the best option ever for me. So I ended up finishing senior year and going into my freshman year with 18 credits for college already. That is more than a semester. The average semester load is 15 credits, and I was going into my freshman year of college with 18 credits already. It ends up being really important later on in the story, but just have to let you know about that. Senior year wrapped around and all my friends started applying to colleges. I didn't even take the SAT. So I go to my parents and it's the very, very beginning of senior year. Maybe it's like August going into September. And I'm like, listen, I need to take the SATs. And they're like, why? You're going to community college. I was like, no, I need to take the SATs. So I signed up, I took the SATs, I did very average. I didn't study for it. I literally woke up, didn't even eat breakfast. I think I had a handful of goldfish and I was on my way. Keep in mind when I was taking the SATs, I was literally like the only senior in that room because I was so behind on this college process. People in my town especially, they start this process of looking for schools their junior year. They take the SAT multiple times their junior year. So I get my test scores back and I'm like, listen, Dad, I need to start applying to schools. He's like, why? I'm like, listen, I really want to go away to a four-year university. I know you say that we can't afford it, but maybe I could get scholarship or something. Like, let's just apply and I don't have to go. Like, we could just apply and see like what comes back and we could see what's going on. So he took the bait. He was like, all right, you know what, that's fine. Like, if you want to apply, go ahead. So I said, great, perfect, here we go. So I literally start applying like a maniac. I was so freaking behind on this process. So I literally start sending out my applications like a nut job. So keep in mind, because of the finance situation, I mainly was applying to schools that were in state, which is New Jersey for me. And I applied to a couple of private schools because I know that private schools have more flexibility with their tuition costs. They could cut it back if you have good grades or whatever. So I applied to a lot of private schools and a lot of schools in New Jersey. So all my friends are getting acceptance letters before me, and obviously because they applied before me, I was like literally having panic. I was like, I need acceptance letters. Like, I literally did not feel like a person. Like, I needed to be validated by one acceptance letter. Like, I needed it for my soul to continue on this earth. I needed it so badly. And I got my first acceptance to West Virginia University and I was like, thank God. And that school is not really hard to get into. The acceptance rate is very high. So even though it wasn't like the best school, I just like really needed that in my life. I really needed that, like, okay, like you can get into college, like you were smart, like you were good enough. I really just needed that validation. So after that acceptance letter, more and more started rolling through. So I said to my dad, I'm like, listen, like we should start touring schools. I'm such a finagler, really. I'm like, we should start touring schools. And he's like, okay, we could tour schools, but we are only touring in New Jersey because you literally are not going anywhere outside of New Jersey. It's not happening. I said, okay. So the way that the SATs work and why they're so important, of course, this could have changed since I was in high school. It's almost 4 years ago. But basically, like the higher score you get, the more money you could get off of a school potentially. Like the higher your score is, the smarter you are. So the more they want you to go to the school, so the cheaper they make it. So Monmouth told me, they're like, we will lower your tuition if you take the SATs again and you score here, because they had like certain thresholds. If you have this score, you could get this amount off. If you have this score, you could get more off. So my dad was like, okay, sign up for the SATs again. Let's just see how it goes. I said, roger that. This was literally January of my senior year. Like commitment day is a couple months away and I'm taking the freaking SATs. Like, ugh. So I take the SATs in January, again, didn't study, literally rolled out of bed and I was like, dope, let's do this. I ended up doing a lot better than the first time. I don't know, I feel like that was luck because I literally didn't study. There was no part of my soul that even tried. I ended up getting the score that I needed to get the tuition. I said, okay, this is very interesting. I was like, Dad, let's get on this. So we started getting on it and we were touring the school. We went to like those student events, like accepted student day, all that bullshit. I started putting myself in those Facebook groups, join those Facebook groups where it's like accepted students to Monmouth, like the year that you're graduating. Mine's 2019, so 2019. So I started joining all those. I started making friends. I started figuring out like who I'm gonna room with, like all this. Like my poor parents literally were like, you're going to community college. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't even know how I pulled this off still to this day. Like any out-of-state school I would get, I'm like, ooh, can I go here? Ooh, can I go here? And they'd be like, no, Monmouth. We're focusing in on Monmouth. That's where you're going. I said, all right, beggars can't be choosers here. I'll deal with it. I just I just want everyone to note my selection process was not because I fell in love with the school. It was not because I saw myself here for 4 years. It was not because I was so drawn to the environment and the people. It wasn't that at all. It was strictly financial. And the problem with that is when you're picking schools for financial reasons, you should really pick them for financial reasons. And what I mean by that is I should have just went to community college. I should have never gone to Monmouth because I wasn't going there for the right reasons. I was going there because I was just like taking anything I could get. I was like to my parents, please, 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 like let me go away. And like finally when I got that SAT score and I got the tuition lowered, like they were like, okay, you can go here. And I was like, okay, I'll go here. And also I'm not trying to like paint my parents like the devil for like not letting me go, because of course I myself could take out thousands and thousands of dollars of debt, but my older brother had already gone through this experience and my dad saw how hard he was struggling to pay off his loans and how hard it was for him to move on like with his life and buy a house and stuff. His viewpoint was, I can't help you out paying for it, I really can't, and I'm not, like I did not just do my whole life for you to start your life in debt of like $100,000. Like that's not what this whole thing was about. Me and my parents agreed on Monmouth. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like I was supposed to go to community college. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna beg anymore. Like this is it. This is it. This is it. It's commitment day. I take pictures. I'm wearing the hat. I'm wearing the shirt. Blah, 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 blah. Like I'm so excited to go. I'm literally so excited to go. And keep in mind, I had this boyfriend that I was dating for 4 years. We ended up breaking up in the summer right before school. So I feel like I did my most growing as a person with this other person. I never really like found myself completely. Like myself was always intertwined with this person. When I got into my freshman year of college, I literally didn't know right from left, up from down. Like I didn't even know what kind of music I liked. Like I had to literally start from zero. Like I didn't know anything about myself. I didn't know who I was without this person. Like it was just really weird. It was a really, really weird time, and the transition was awful because so many things were changing. I broke up, I moved to a new school, I was making new friends. Like there was just way too much going on, and like I am such a creature of habit that I couldn't deal with all the changes that were happening. When you get to college, like literally as soon as your parents leave, like all rules are out the window. Like you could literally do whatever you want. And I feel like that's just like a lot of power for someone to have who like was going through something like I was going through. Like I was just being really weird. Like I didn't know what was good with me. My new priority, my new thing was like going out. I was like, yes, party, I'll be there. See you then. What time? Pick me up. What am I wearing? So when I got to Monmouth, I feel like my priorities were really ass backwards, especially for someone who was never supposed to go to a 4-year university. And I was not really like in the school groove. Like I was more in the social groove because I didn't have a lot of friends in high school. And I was like, I want to make friends. Like I want to have fun. I want to make memories. I just got out of this relationship. Like let's go. I was only at Monmouth for less than a month. Like I hate saying that I went there because I didn't go there at all. I got no credits from there. I got some debt from there, but I didn't get any credits at all. So I literally was there for a month and a half because I ended up getting sick with mono. Now mono is called the kissing disease. I don't know that I got it from kissing someone. Moral of the story, got mono. The thing with mono is it really affects everyone differently. So my sister had it and she literally had like a cold for a week and then she was fine. And I had it and I literally died. So like I said, when I first got to Monmouth, my priorities were ass backwards. I just wanted to make friends, just wanted to go out, wasn't focusing on school at all. The first set of exams rolled out and I was trying to study so hard because I knew through the beginning of the semester I wasn't really paying attention because I was going out so much, so I knew I really had to grind for these exams. I was in the library for like a few days before this exam, my one political science exam, and I was trying so hard to study, like, but I couldn't stay awake. I literally kept falling asleep, falling asleep, falling asleep. I literally went back to my dorm room. I'm falling asleep with a textbook in my hand. I could not study for the life of me. I get to the exam, and this was like literally one of the worst experiences of my life. Like, I would honestly rate this top 5 worst experiences of my life. I literally go to take the exam. I can't even answer one question. It was so embarrassing because I went to Monmouth, which is a private school, and everyone knows each other. I knew so many people in my class, and like everyone just started leaving one by one, handing in the test, and I was literally the last one there, and there was more time allotted to take the exam, but it was like getting embarrassing that I was just like sitting there with nothing on my paper and the professor was just staring at me. And I say this is like one of the worst experiences of my life because I really did try to study for the exam. Like I really did. I didn't know I had mono at the time, so I didn't realize why I kept falling asleep. And it was just so disheartening because after like begging my parents for so long to go to a 4-year university, I felt in this moment that I was like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Like maybe like I don't deserve to be here. And that was just like one of the worst feelings in the world because I fought so hard to get here, and I was like, maybe like everyone was right, like maybe I should have just went to community college, like I'm not cut out for this. I handed my exam because it was just like, I couldn't even try because I didn't know the answers, and like I was just wasting my time and the professors. So I handed in my paper and he goes to me, he's like, did you not study? And I was like, not really. And he's like, okay. And I just like felt like such shit. I literally left the classroom, I started bawling, crying. I called my dad, I'm like, Dad, like I'm not cut out for college, like I don't know, like I just like failed my exam, like I didn't know anything on it, like I just felt so stupid. It was literally like, it was the worst experience of my life. I was like, something's wrong, I need to come home. I like went out to dinner with my friends that night or something, and I don't know, I was just like touching my neck and I felt like one of my lymph nodes was swollen. I was like, what the fuck is going on back here? So I was like, I need to go to the doctor. So I went home, I went to the doctor, and they ran a test for mono, and I was like, I've never even heard of this, like what the hell, what is this? So it turns out that I had mono. I stayed home, like, because the night that I went home, I didn't have class the next day, so I stayed home for like that weekend, and on that Monday I found out that I had mono. So here's the part that gets really tricky and really annoying. I called the school, and my dad's like, okay, like you should call the school, like see if you get a doctor's note, if they could potentially like give you more time because you're so sick right now, like to finish assignments and stuff. I'm like, okay, great idea. Not thinking anything of this. So I called the school. I have no idea who the lady was who like picked up the phone and walked me through this horrible process, but she literally was like, oh, you can't come to school if you have mono, it's highly contagious. And I was like, so she was like, you have to defer your enrollment, like you need to, like you can't come to school if you have mono. And I was like, okay, like that wasn't my plan, like I'm just asking if I could get a doctor's note to like give me more time to finish assignments so I could come back like after I don't have mono. And she's like, no, like you need to defer right now. And I was like, oh my God, like I was a freshman in college, I didn't even question it, I didn't hang up the phone, I wasn't like, let me talk to my parents, like I literally was just like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do. I was like, okay. So I followed the process with her to defer my enrollment. Basically what deferring your enrollment means, like you're still accepted to the school, like you could still be a student, but like that semester, like it's not happening for you, like you could try again next semester or whatever the case is. So deferring lasts for a year, I'm pretty sure. Like if you get accepted, you could defer your enrollment for a year. It depends on the school, of course, but you could come back like within a year. So I said, okay, like whatever, I went through the process, I deferred my enrollment. I told my dad, he's like, why the hell did you defer your enrollment? I'm like, that's what the lady like told me to do. It sounds so stupid looking back, but I literally like did not know what was happening, and this lady was directing me to do this, so I just didn't question it. I said, okay. My dad was like, honestly, like, good thing, like I said, this will come back. Good thing you have those 18 credits because this will replace your semester basically. So that's what ended up happening. So now I was in a position where I wasn't in school. I literally go from needing to go to a community college, begging my parents to go to a four-year university, getting into a four-year university, my parents agreeing to let me go, to getting mono, to having to basically drop out of school because I'm so sick. What? Who does that even happen to? And keep in mind, this was the fall semester of freshman year, so I'm literally on Snapchat seeing all of my friends at their four-year universities, all my friends getting into sororities, all my friends making new friends, all my friends having all these experiences, and I literally was laying in my bed rotting with mono. Like literally rotting with mono. So yeah, I'm just gonna end this video here right now. I'm gonna do part 1 and part 2 of my college experience because I'm realizing this video is getting so out of hand and it is so long. But if you want to see part 2, just, you know, click the button or whatever you have to do to watch part 2. Yeah.